So it's World Cup time again. Don't know if you're watching, but I'm excited for it every time. It has been a chokehold every time, and I'm spending my days watching a bunch of men running after a ball. Don't get me wrong, I love this game. It's been a steady part of my entire life, but sometimes when I sit there watching the, 30, 40, 50,000 people in those stadiums who have probably traveled a long way and probably paid a lot of money to be there. How has this game become such a big part of our cultural life? Why do we pay so much attention to it, get so passionate over it? Where did this game come from? And how did it stay? One of the earliest known ball games was the Mesoamerican ball game, which originated more than 3,500 years ago in ancient Mexico and Central America. It was played by civilizations such as the Olmecs, Mayas, and Aztecs. The game often held religious significance, and some ceremonial matches were connected to rituals and human sacrifice. Although it is very different from modern football, it demonstrates humanity's long history of organized ball games. The earliest form of football can be traced also back to ancient civilizations. In ancient China, around 200 BCE to 500 BCE, a game called Kuju was played. There are different versions. In one, players were supposed to keep up the ball and not let it touch the floor, and then passing it on to their teammate. In a more competitive version, they had to kick the ball through a hole placed in the middle of the pitch. But the two teams did not interact with each other, but rather stayed on the opposite sides of the pitch. While this is still different to our idea of football, this version has been cited as the earliest form of it by FIFA. And all around the world, people had their different versions of ball games. The ancient Greeks had a team game known as episkiros, which later influenced the Roman game harpastum. Indigenous people in North America, Australia, and New Zealand also played various kicking and ball games, including Mark Krok and Ki O Rahi. I'm hoping I pronounced all of those games correctly. And even aristocrats like to get down and dirty. In Florence, Italy, they gathered in public squares during celebrations to play football-like games called Calcio Fiorentino. But this form was also pretty brutal, allowing for opponents to punch, kick, and tackle each other. In 1580, Giovanni de Bardi wrote a set of rules for the game, which can be considered one of the earliest written rulebooks for football-related sport. Although this game disappeared in the 18th century, it was revived in the 20th century and still played today as a historical tradition. But now, when we talk about the way that we play football today, this modern version began to develop in England during the 19th century. It was often called mob football, where towns or neighboring villages with an unlimited numbers of players on opposing teams would try to move a particular item, like sometimes an inflated animal splatter, to a certain point, like the opponent's church or the marketplace. This was often played during holidays such as Christmas or Easter. While it was often very chaotic and physical due to little or no rules being implemented, this laid the foundation for the development of modern football in England. By the 19th century, English schools and clubs began creating standardized rules for the game. Since football became so popular in schools such as Eton College, Harrow School, and Rugby School, each had its own version of the game, leading to big differences how it was played. Some focused on mainly kicking and dribbling, while others allowed catching, carrying, and running with the ball in their hands. So there was obviously some confusion when matches between different schools took place. So, to solve this problem, students and teachers began writing down their school rules for a more consistent play. This was an important step when attempts took place to standardize football across England. The version played at rugby school, which allowed handling the ball, eventually developed into rugby football, while other schools influenced what became association football. And as football grew in popularity during the late 19th century, the sport spread far beyond England. British sailors, merchant engineers, and workers introduced the game to many countries across Europe, South America, Africa, and Asia. As more national football associations were established, there was a need for an international organization so that matches between countries, which played by different rules, could be standardized. This process led to the formation of the Football Association in Paris on the 21st of May 1904. It is made up of more than 200 national football associations, with each association representing a different country's territory. These associations are grouped into 6 continental confederations. The main role is to oversee international football and ensure that the rules of the game are applied correctly across the world. They also promote fair play and invest into infrastructure and youth programs. The organization is led by a president and a council, which make decisions about the future of the sport. Representatives from member associations vote on important matters, including the election of the FIFA president and the selection of the World Cup hosts. For example, a club belongs to a national association. The national association belongs to the Continental Confederation, and the Confederation is part of FIFA's worldwide system. This hierarchy allows FIFA to govern football at the global level, while national associations manage the sport within their own country. It also manages major tournaments, including the FIFA World Cup and the FIFA's Women's World Cup. In the 1930s, the first World Cup was hosted in Uruguay, which had recently won 2 Olympic football gold medals and was celebrating the centenary of its independence. Most of the 13 participating teams came from America, due to the long and expensive journey across the Atlantic Ocean. Only a few European nations were able to take part. Uruguay defeated Argentina in the final and became the first champion. Over the following decades, the tournament expanded significantly. More countries joined and wanted to qualify for the World Cup, leading to even larger and more competitive tournaments. The World Cup produced legendary moments and players. Stars such as Messi, Maradona, and Ronaldo helped inspire new generations. Their performances contributed to the tournament's reputation. Sounds all fun and good, but if you take a peek behind this shiny world, we know that FIFA also comes with much darker sides. There have been some severe corruption and fraud cases over the last years. For example, in 2015, several high-ranking FIFA members were arrested as a part of a big corruption investigation involving allegations of bribery and money laundering. And every time a new World Cup is hosted, a lot of criticism due to human rights violation, animal abuse, and the poor or horrifying treatment of the workers comes up. Some host countries make terrible choices, building a glittering world for all football fans, the weight of it all being carried by the people who work for them, being treated absolutely unethical. International tournaments, stadium constructions, and global travel can have significant environmental impacts. There are many more things you could cover, and while FIFA has played a crucial role in transforming football into a global sport, Its history is marked by controversies regarding corruption, governance, and ethics, leading to ongoing debates about how international football should be managed. Throughout the 20th and 21st century, football experienced enormous growth due to television, sponsorships, and technological advancements. International competitions attracted billions of viewers, while players became global celebrities. People gather in front of radios who broadcast matches so people from a distance can follow. And the television brings the game into millions of homes across the world. It's regarded as the world's most popular sport. It is played and watched in so many countries, bringing people together from diverse cultures, languages, and backgrounds. Although football is sadly mostly associated with men's competitions, records show that women's football matches were taking place in England during the late 19th century, and the sport grew rapidly during the early 20th century. During the First World War, many women worked in factories while men served in the military, and factory teams became increasingly popular. Some matches attracted a lot of spectators. But despite this, in 1921, the Football Association banned women's matches from being played on grounds affiliated with the association. This ban, which lasted for 50 years, greatly limited the development of women's games in England and influenced the attitude towards women's football in other countries. But luckily, the situation began to improve since the Football Association lifted its ban in 1971. Now female players got to compete at high levels also. A major milestone was the first official FIFA Women's World Cup in 1991. Since then, women's football experienced growth since professional leagues got expanded. Players such as Mia Hamm, Marta, Megan Rapinoe, and Alexia Putellas have become influential figures. From this long, extensive history of ball game, we can safely say football is more than just a game. It is a global cultural force that connects people across different countries, languages, and backgrounds. With the rise of it, with the money and commercialization of it all, it does face many challenges, but its ability to inspire passion and unity is unmatched. The idea always stays the same. People come together to play and to watch, to cheer and to celebrate. The core idea to unite us through sport will always stay the same.